Today, I'm going to be comparing two of the most popular 4-channel dash cams on Amazon. On this side, we've got the BOTSLAB N80H going up against the VANTRUE N5S. I'll be breaking down the design, video quality, and comparing all features side by side and scoring them on a final scorecard so you know exactly where your money goes. And stick around to the end because there are some nuances with these that may actually change which one you pick. But before we start, BOTSLAB did sponsor this video, but as always, you're going to get actual data and my real take. Let's get into it. First thing we're gonna do is unbox both of these. Okay, so we have an instruction manual here on the top. So we have this tool which allows us to put the wires up into the car. Adhesive clips here. And we've got our charging cable. This goes into your cigarette lighter and you've got a USB-A charging port here. And then this is going to be the camera that goes on the rear. And here is the main dash cam. Here's the cable you can run to the back to plug in the rear camera. And we've got some other installation for when you're sticking things to your actual car. And then it even comes with this microfiber cloth. Now let's open up the BOTSLAB. So this is if you want to actually hardwire it to your car. You have that option here. You got your basic quick start guide, sticker, microfiber cloth. You can see that this swivels. Screen on the back, and this is all controlled via touch screen. This also comes with a 128 gigabyte SD card right in the box, which is a nice advantage over the VANTRUE because that's $20 to $30 saved right there just having this included. And these are your side cameras, which actually magnet on to the main camera, and that is very satisfying. And here we have the rear camera, and that rotates 180 degrees. We have a wire management tool, a cigarette lighter plug. This also has a USB-A connection right there. So for what's included in the box, I give the BOTSLAB a 4.5 out of 5 because it does include an SD card and a hardwire kit, where the VANTRUE I give a 3 out of 5 because you will need to purchase an SD card separately to even use the dash cam, and if you want to use any of the parking mode features, you're going to need that hardwire kit. Next, we're going to go over the design and build quality as well as run through some of the functions. So starting with the VANTRUE camera here, the actual layout of the cameras is a bit odd on this setup because you just have this one camera connected to the main unit, and then there's actually going to be two cameras that route to the back of your car. So I'm going to show you in just a second what that looks like once it's actually installed. And then here is your power button right here on this side. And it took me a minute to figure out that you actually install the SD card by popping this open right here. And that's where your SD card goes. This will need an SD card to actually work, and that is sold separately. And the main difference between these two is that this is all controlled by the buttons here on the bottom. I'm going to show you that in a second as well. And the BOTSLAB is all controlled via touchscreen, and it has the two cameras on the side here, and it just has the one camera that connects on the back of the car. So the SD card slot is right here on the top for the BOTSLAB. And the cameras are much easier to adjust here because you have a swivel on both sides, as well as the mount itself moves up and down. And the camera on the front is also adjustable, where with the VANTRUE, this is in a fixed position. It rotates up from the mount at the top, and then this goes up and down right here. So next I'm going to plug these in and show you the display. Starting with the VANTRUE, this button right here on the bottom is going to start and stop recording. Then we can also flip through the different camera angles and choose if we want to see one camera angle or all four at once here. Then the next button is going to turn the audio on and off. Next, we have a menu. So here you can see your different recordings. You've got a voice control section here, and this is going to tell you the different voice controls that you have. So you can just say take photo when you're recording. It's going to take a photo of your cameras. There's a bunch of other voice controls as well. If we go back, we can look at our files as well. So if we click into here, we can see our normal videos, event videos, and these are going to be nicely organized. And you can watch your actual video clips right here on the unit itself. Looking at the BOTSLAB, it has about the same display size, but it is all touchscreen operated. And we can swipe down from the top and we can turn on and off the emergency recording, the in-car recording, and change the audio settings. And we can see all of our displays here, but what I really like about this one is if you want to change the display, all you have to do is double tap, and now I've got the right camera as the big display here. If I want to go back to the front, I can double tap on that, and you can also swipe over to the left, and it's going to show a big version of whatever camera you have featured right here. So if you just want to see one, that is a nice option as well. Also, if you want to just remove any of the cameras, you can unplug them, and you can see it just got rid of our left camera and put the time here instead. So it's very customizable if you want to change what displays you're actually seeing. Pop that back on, and you can see our left camera is now back. If you tap on the screen, you can also get this menu right here. You can see your loop recordings, emergency recordings, and parking monitor recordings. You've also got time lapse, so that's from your parking mode as well. If you click on this icon here in the middle, it's going to immediately go into emergency recording. So if you are in an emergency situation, it's nice to be able to do that very quickly. And then on the right side, we just have your basic settings where you can adjust things like the resolution and other system settings like that. So I really like the BOTSLAB display. It's intuitive and easy to use, and the touchscreen makes everything very easy to control. Both of these dash cams also come with an app. So starting off with the BOTSLAB, you can basically do everything that you can do in the screen inside the app as well. So you can download your recordings. We can also just go to the live view of the actual camera. So we can see that right here. And if we click into this replay section, that's where all of our files are going to be stored. If you ever need to download them and submit them to insurance, that's really handy. Next, jumping into the VANTRUE app. This app is very basic, but does basically all the same things. You can look at your saved files. Both of these cameras have 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi connections, which makes transfer speeds a lot faster than a 2 gigahertz connection. And you can basically see the display right here and check out all your files from inside the app. The apps aren't really something that I ever use, but it's there for you if you prefer that option. So when it comes to the interface and app, I think both of these cameras do a really solid job. So I give both of them a 4 out of 5. It's just going to come down to personal preference, whether you prefer the touchscreen on the BOTSLAB or button controls on the VANTRUE. I just installed both dash cams. Here's the VANTRUE and I have the BOTSLAB here. I had to stagger them a bit so you could get all the camera angles. Let's take them for a test drive. Both of these are 4-channel setups, so on paper you're getting 360 degrees either way. But how they get there is not the same. BOTSLAB uses 2 dedicated side cameras, 120 degrees each, mounted at the front of the vehicle facing the sides of your car. VANTRUE instead gives you cabin-facing cameras, one in the front facing the back of the car, and one in the back facing the front of the car. These are great if you're doing rideshare or want an eye on your back seat. The VANTRUE setup is built to catch what's happening inside the car. Front and rear are close. BOTSLAB's front is 170 degrees. VANTRUE doesn't publish an exact number, but it's a standard wide angle, and both cameras match at 150 degrees in the rear. Add it all up across the 4 lenses, and BOTSLAB actually gives you 560 degrees of combined coverage versus 360 on the VANTRUE. So for the coverage comparison, I'm scoring the BOTSLAB at a 4 out of 5 and the VANTRUE a 3 out of 5. But I do want to call this out. If you're someone who actually values in-cab footage, whether that's for rideshare, keeping an eye on the back seat, or just documenting what's happening inside the car, the VANTRUE setup might genuinely be the better pick for you. It really comes down to what you're trying to capture. Now let's talk about video quality, starting with daytime. BOTSLAB is shooting in 3K and the VANTRUE comes in at 2.7K. On paper, that's about 30% more resolution for the BOTSLAB, and when you actually pull the footage up side by side, you can see it. License plates read a little crisper, and fine details like text and road signs holds together better when you zoom in. Color is also worth mentioning. BOTSLAB's colors look more natural and true to life, where VANTRUE leans slightly cooler, a little more blue-toned. Not a deal breaker, just a different look out of the box. Con on the BOTSLAB side, that extra resolution means bigger files, so you're eating through storage faster. File sizes for 1-minute clips on the BOTSLAB for me were about 150 megabytes versus 111 megabytes on the VANTRUE. For daytime quality, I give the BOTSLAB a 4.5 out of 5 and the VANTRUE a 4 out of 5. Next, for parking mode, the BOTSLAB gives you 3 separate modes: a time-lapse mode, sentry mode that kicks on recording when it detects motion, and standard collision detection. VANTRUE has 1 mode, essentially buffered collision detection. Solid, but it's the only option you get. Pre-recording is actually a spot where VANTRUE edges ahead, 10 seconds versus BOTSLAB's 8, so it's grabbing a couple extra seconds of lead up before an event triggers. For this category, I give the BOTSLAB a 4 out of 5 and the VANTRUE a 3 out of 5. BOTSLAB gives you more options, but the VANTRUE still does the basics well. One thing worth mentioning is that both of these cameras need to be hardwired to your car for the parking modes to work. Next, let's talk about nighttime footage. VANTRUE is running the newer Starvis 2 sensor along with HDR and WDR combined, and in genuinely pitch black scenes, that combo does pull a bit more shadow detail. That's a real strength on the VANTRUE side. BOTSLAB counters with an f1.8 large aperture lens and 940 nanometer infrared LEDs, but it's running WDR only, no HDR. In practice, license plates and road details still come through clearly on both cameras in my testing. Where I'd flag a difference is in high contrast scenes, oncoming headlights, street lights mixed with dark road. That's exactly where HDR helps prevent blown out highlights, so VANTRUE may have a slight edge there. So for nighttime footage, these cameras are pretty close, but I'd give the slight edge to VANTRUE at a 4.5 out of 5, and I give the BOTSLAB a 4 out of 5. Our final category is the value category, and for me, this one is a no contest because the BOTSLAB comes in at a much lower price point than the VANTRUE, and you have everything included like the SD card and the hardwire kit that you need to actually use the camera out of the box. So even though some of the actual features are pretty close on these two cameras, the bang for your buck that you're going to get with the BOTSLAB is much better, in my opinion, than the VANTRUE. After extensively testing both of these dash cams, I've tallied up the final scores, and the BOTSLAB comes in at a 30 out of 35, where the VANTRUE scores a 25 out of 35. So our clear winner for most people, the BOTSLAB, is going to be the better dash cam. However, if you're someone that values the in-cab footage or nighttime footage, then the VANTRUE may have the slight edge, though you are going to be at a more premium price point on the VANTRUE dashcam. Overall, these are both very solid options, and I think you can't really go wrong with either pick. So thank you for sticking around till the end of the video, and I hope this was helpful in making an informed purchase decision.